What's up, guys and girls? This is Tim here, and welcome to a slightly different video today, because I'm not doing a gaming video. I'm actually going to be doing a unboxing slash review slash first look at the new HTC Vive head strap with integrated audio. Now, first thing I got to confess is this is a sponsored video, sponsored by Joe Bird, in the sense that she bought this for me on my birthday. And I figured that a couple of people I've spoken to who use the Vive were asking me about it, and there seems to be a lot of people out there who are slightly undecided as to whether it was worth it and whether or not it's actually something that people with a Vive should rush out there and buy. So I thought I'd do this little video just to share my experiences of it. Obviously, if you haven't got a Vive, this is not necessarily going to be that interesting to you, but VR stuff's always very interesting, so maybe you will like it anyway. So here I've got the Vive as it comes as standard, with the standard sort of rubber head straps. Now, it's important to say, I think at this point, that this works really well. The first thing I'd say to most people is you don't need to rush out and buy this head strap. For most people, this works really well. It's not like this is causing a big problem that needs to be replaced. I personally didn't necessarily get on with it as well as some other people. If I pop it on now, turning the cable over the back of my head, the problem I have with it is right here, and apologies, I can't now obviously see what you're seeing, but hopefully you can see this. But at the back here, I feel like sometimes this could do with being a bit lower, and it kind of often feels like it's a bit perched on top of my head. Also, this strap here doesn't sometimes sit as tightly as I would like it to. What the hell's going on with the cable here? There it is. Doesn't sit as tightly as I'd like it to, so it feels like I have to take up a lot of the pressure with these side straps. So for long periods of play, the Vive is quite pressed into my face, and it can get a little bit uncomfortable. And even right now, wearing it for a few minutes, it's not great. Also, the adjustment's a bit more random. It can be a bit awkward to get it to the perfect kind of tightness so that it doesn't move, particularly in active games. But also it doesn't, let's say, hurt you after a while. So, like I say, I was looking for something to slightly make it longer or better for longer play periods. So, as I say, my beautiful and amazing girlfriend Jo Bird treated me to this for my birthday, and I've got to be honest, from straight out the bat, I'm really happy with it. As with most Vive stuff, it comes in a very sort of nice packaging, pretty secure and simple. There's not actually that much in the box itself. If I open it up, hopefully you can see in that. As I say, this is the sort of first experience I've got of doing these kind of videos, so apologies if the camera works not brilliant. But inside the back, you've obviously got the actual main headset. You've got instruction manuals in various different languages, and somewhere in here you have this little Velcro strip, and that is it. The headset actually sits on this sort of quite nice little rack here. It's a little bit overkill, because obviously you can't keep it back in here once you put the headset on it, but it makes it a nice display thing when you take it out of the box. If you look at it, it's fairly lightweight, and obviously you've got the integrated audio headphones here, and you've got the wire for plugging those in. The next thing I want to do is I'm going to take you through setting it up and putting it on the Vive, because the instructions that came with it are okay, but there's a couple of little bits which I wasn't particularly sure of, and I didn't feel like the instructions explained it. To be fair, it did link me to an online thing to go and check out, and I will say that if you are going to be getting one of these and installing it, make sure you read the instructions, make sure you watch or have a look at the online stuff. Don't take this as a exhaustive guide to how to do this. As always, no liability accepted if you fuck your Vive up. So the first thing you need to do, or the first thing you'll need to do, is actually unravel the cabling. I've already done this because I put this back on to show you how to do this. But essentially the cabling runs through here and then runs through a couple of loops on the top strap. It's just a case of pulling it back through. It's not a big issue. Next thing you want to probably do is remove the top Velcro strap, so that just undoes and pulls out. That's nice and easy. Then you have to remove these two side caps, which actually hold the strap on. This is actually really easy to do, but it's one of them things where you got to put a little bit of pressure on it, and I was bricking it when I'm doing this, thinking I'm going to break it. So it's one of the things, you need a fairly firm pressure to take these off, but as gentle as you can be. Don't go yanking on them. But essentially what I found was if you sort of put your fingers under it and sort of push under and twist at the same time, he says, this is where I'm going to break my Vive live on camera. He says, oop. Kind of hard to do with one hand. Hang on. This is what I mean. I'm still nervous. I've done this twice now, and I'm still nervous about doing it. But basically, it should, he says, beautiful sounding noise. There we go. It actually helps a little bit if you kind of rotate it as you go. I know you won't be able to see it on the detail here, but there's these kind of like two little side tabs which slot in. So as you're pulling, try and rotate, and it generally just clips off. Again, look at the guide before you do it. This obviously now I don't need, so that can go in the box. Second thing, I actually learned a pretty cool thing while I was doing this, which I didn't actually realise because I guess I never really looked into it. But this top cap here, where all the cables feed into, actually opens up. So if I push it forward, it's a little bit awkward because the cables are kind of in the way. There we go. I can actually remove this top cap, and then in there, all the cables actually connect via these USB ports, or USB and HDMI, and a power cable. So you can buy replacement cables for this, which I knew about, but I never really thought about it per se. But in the future, I guess if you can maybe get longer cables, or if there's add-ons for wireless kit and things like that, you'll be able to just pull them out and plug straight into that. And it does add into one nice little feature which comes with this, which is the audio cable. So it's just got a little 3.5mm jack there, and you can plug the earbuds that come into it, or your headphones, or whatever you want that come into it. Obviously the strap has its own sort of audio cable, and I was thinking, oh, you'll just plug that into the end of that, but actually no, you can throw my thing on the floor. You can pull this out and plug it straight in, so it's a lot sort of neater. So with that in mind, it's a little bit fiddly, particularly when you've got big fat fingers like I have. So to pull that out, that again is not needed anymore, so it can go straight in the box. So the next thing you want to do is actually attach the Vive new head strap. So basically it goes on in exactly the reverse way as the one came off, although actually I found this a little bit easier because it doesn't have the sort of same big tabs that the other one does. So other thing, don't put that through, you won't be able to see from there, don't put that through the middle, because once you attach these, you then won't be able to reroute the cables. So make sure the cable's on the top, line them up onto here, and then according to the instructions in the actual manual, you should hold it like this with your palms on each side and apply gentle pressure. He says, how gentle? Their idea of gentle is a little bit more than mine. You hit a click on that side. There we go, click on that side. So once you hear that definite click, it's very much attached. Next thing you need to do, like I say, is if I take the little headphone jiggly wire with it's got little springy bits on it, so it's adjustable. I need to make sure I feed it back. Where's it gone? Bring the little cover back up, and I need to feed. Go on, sit down there. I need to feed the headphone socket back through there, so it just literally goes over the top, through the hole, and like that. Hopefully you can see that. As I say, apologies if the frame is not perfect, but I put it back through the little gap, and then you need to reclose this cover, and it's a little bit awkward with these cables. I found to reclose it, you have to sort of pull all the cables forward and turn it around the right way, he says. Yeah, pull all the cables to the front, because it sort of slides in from the front. Yeah, like that, I think. Has that gone in properly? And again, yeah, nice click to say it's gone in. Only a couple more steps to do. I've got to reattach the top strap, and this top strap is actually a lot better than the main one that comes with it. I think it's got a lot more adjustment than the main one, but I'm just going to leave that loose for now because I'll need to adjust that one to put it on. I then need to do a little bit of cable routing. You don't put the cable back up through this and over the top, it actually goes around the side here, and I'll come to that in a minute because there was actually a slight issue I had with that. If I put that on the right side, there we go. So yeah, it basically it just clips into a little clip on the side there, and it's very neat and convenient the way it's kind of set up like that. But I will show you something in a second. You bring the cable around to the back, and that's where your little Velcro doodaddy comes in. And I'm following the diagram that it shows in the manual, so this is kind of how they say it. And you can see with the cable coming from this side, it naturally sits on the back there, facing that way. And in the diagram in the actual book that comes with it, that's what it looks like. So you then just wrap this round, and if you can get it to stick, there we go, and just stick it like that so it's nice and secure in the back. Now that works quite well. The only slight flaw I've got with that, and this is one of the few sort of negatives I have with this thing, is you can see how it sort of positions it off to the side there. With the original one, because the cable's coming over the back, it kind of hangs straight down, and so it's sort of, if you position it right, it just sits in the sort of down your spine basically, and is very much out of the way. With it pointing that way, particularly when I was playing Onward the other day, I find that I was getting it a lot more caught on my left arm. So I'm thinking I might either try and come up with something that allows it to point a bit more downwards, or have something actually like clipped onto my belt or something like that, which I can clip the cable into loosely, so it just keeps it straight down my back and out of the way. But it's a minor thing, and it's only really an issue if you're playing very active games like Onward. Anything a bit more stationary is not going to make any difference whatsoever. So obviously there you go, it's literally, that's it, it's ready to go. So next thing is to do is just to pop it on. It's very easy to adjust. There's this knob here on the back, which hopefully you can see, and as I adjust that, it actually extends the front out, and then I can pull it on and tighten it up so it's nice and comfy, and then what I'll do is I'll just adjust this top strap, and I can pull it now. Now there was one thing, and a couple of people I spoke to online were talking about this, is and I had the same sort of misconception, which was I thought that this was going to be set up kind of like the PSVR, so you could actually just keep the headset on but flip the visor up. That is not actually the case. There was some literature which kind of alluded to that to a certain extent, but what they're actually talking about is the fact that this is actually spring loaded here. So if you can see, I can kind of pull it forward, but only like a centimetre or so. And that's just kind of facilitate taking it on and off, so rather than having to sort of smush it over your face, you can actually pull it out and lift it off. So it's a nice to have. But it would have obviously been a bit more convenient if you could just lift it up, but they've obviously not gone for that. And as much as that's a nice to have, I don't genuinely feel like that is something where, you know, I'm really going to use it that often. I don't think. I can't see me walking around with the headset on my top of my head, particularly as I'm tethered to it anyway. If I'm not having it over my eyes, I will normally just take it off and put it on the ground. So it might be nice to have it on top of your head, but it doesn't detract from it altogether. So the important thing is now, how does it feel and what's it look like? What's it like to play with? I've got to be honest, it's really good. Like I said, I always felt like the last one was a little bit, or the normal strap is a little bit perched, whereas this one, it feels like it's part of my head. It's very stable. I can wiggle around. I can do anything I want, and it very much stays where it wants. On more active games, I might crank it up a little bit tighter. So it doesn't move at all, and then on more casual games I might loosen it off a little bit just so it's a little bit more comfortable. But yeah, it never felt with the normal strap that it was going to fall off my head, but it just feels like I say, like this is now a part of my head, and it's like I'm wearing a helmet rather than wearing like a pair of goggles. And yeah, so from that perspective, it is more comfortable, particularly if you're playing long sessions. The first day I got this, I did 2 hours in Onward, an hour in VRZ, and I felt no ill effects, whereas before sometimes I'd have a little bit of an ache in the back of my head where the strap was sitting. So from a comfort perspective, yeah, this is definitely an improvement, but like I said at the beginning, it's not like the normal one is bad. It's just that this is nice to have kind of thing. The other thing, obviously, is the audio. So these are fixed headphones, and they're adjustable and they move, and then they just kind of click into your ears. And I got to be honest as well, these are really good. The sound quality is good. It works well with the kind of directional sound that you have in most Vive games. The only slight negative I have, and it's a very personal negative to me, is that normally if I'm doing Vive, particularly recording, before this I would wear my headphones, and if you watch my headcam footage before, you'll know that I have these. These are a set of Corsair wireless headphones, and when I'm doing recording I will use the boom mic rather than the built-in mic in the Vive, just because this is slightly better quality than the Vive. The Vive is, the Vive mic is, I believe, I think it's this tiny little hole here, which is nowhere you'll ever see, but so it can get a bit breathy there. One of my friends did recommend, actually, if I put a little bit of foam over that to act as like a pop shield, that might work a lot better, so I'll try that. But obviously with these on, and they can't, as far as I'm aware, be easily removed. They might be able to be unscrewed and removed, but I haven't wanted to have a mess around with that. I can't wear these at the same time as this, so recording might be a little bit more difficult, but like I say, for most people that's not going to be a major issue, and for me it's not really a major issue. And as much as I was kind of not really wanting these, since I've started using them, I really do like them, and there's something so convenient just about having the whole thing in a nice headset that I can just plop on my head, push on my eyes, and then just put the audio on, and I'm good to go. You know, same equally if I want to take it off, everything's in one nice clean package. So yeah, the audio is a really nice feature. So I think generally that kind of sums it all up. The only last thing I need to tell you, which I probably should have looked at before I did this, is what the price of this thing is. So yeah, with a sneaky edit, Joe Bird, I had to ask Joe Bird what my birthday present cost, which is very bad etiquette, I know. Slap on the wrist for Timmy. But it's basically in the UK, £99.99p, and with, I think she said £12 or £14 postage. So it's £114, which, like I say, it is not cheap. You know, if it was £25-30, I would say go out and get it right now. Forget about your old strap, go and get it. So £115 is a fair chunk of cash. I've said to everyone I've spoke to about this, and I'll say it to you guys, it's a nice to have. If you are, you know, strapped for cash, or you get on really well with the normal strap, or you've got decent headphones and things like that, I wouldn't necessarily rush out and buy one of these. But if you can afford it and you play a lot of Vive, I think you won't be dissatisfied with it. Like I say, if that amount of money is something which you can afford to spend on a bit of a luxury, which, given you've spent £650 odd on a Vive, I'm assuming you've got a few pounds to spare, then I would certainly recommend going to get it. It's a good addition to the Vive, and I like that HTC are doing these kind of products that complement the existing headset rather than just throwing the headset away and creating a new one straight away. So yeah, like I say, it's a bit of a luxury. It's not a necessity, but if you can get one, then I think you'd be very happy with it. And it does just make the whole system a little bit cleaner and a bit nicer. So anyway, guys, that's kind of my thoughts. Hopefully this video's come out. Hopefully you found it interesting and useful. I may do more of this kind of video. I have thought about doing it in the past, and I've actually recorded a couple of things which I never released. So if you would like to see more of this kind of stuff, then I'm more than happy to do it. But for now, I think that's going to do it. So I've been Timmy. This has been my unboxing, reviewing, guide, whatever you want to call it, of the new HTC Vive head strap. I hope very much you enjoyed it, and I hope very much you'll check back for the next video.